The Montreal Canadiens have signed Brendan Gallagher. We'll discuss all the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some breaking news from the Montreal Canadiens organization. They have come to terms on a 6-year contract extension with popular forward Brendan Gallagher. Now I know just in the last 24 hours, there was news reports from NHL insiders such as Elliot Friedman indicating that their contract talks were kind of at a standstill and talks had broken off. But apparently Pierre LeBrun has put out here on Twitter, since this was announced just in the last few minutes, that apparently Gallagher's agent, Jerry Johansson, and Marc Bergevin, there was some kind of misunderstanding apparently, and they circled back to each other last night, got things cleared up, and continued negotiating and hammered out the remaining details of this deal. So the contract is for 6 years, has an average annual value of $6.5 million, which is a pretty substantial raise over what he's making now. Just shy of $4 million. He's at $3.75 currently, so it's a pretty good contract extension. I mean, based on what they've paid to the other players like Josh Anderson, for example, this is certainly a fair contract. I mean, Gallagher is a heart and soul kind of player. He's a guy who can possibly be a 25 to 30 goal scorer. He can play in your top six, often in your top line. He can be your net front presence on a power play. He might be small, but he works incredibly hard. He's a warrior out there for them, not afraid to get in mixed up into the rough stuff, and really kind of does a bit of everything. It's just an important piece in that team. Now, we had talked last night if he did become a tradable asset for Montreal, that his hometown team in Vancouver will likely be all over that, and I do believe that they would have been if it had gotten to that. But as I said in last night's video as well, I would be quite surprised if they didn't get things cleared up. They had plenty of time in order to kind of come to terms here and get something settled. But Marc Bergevin did note yesterday that obviously they have a lot of pending UFAs for next year, and that they're not going to be able to keep them all. Obviously, there's other guys that are on that list like Tomas Tatar, Philip Deneau, and others. And there may be other cap casualties here that they do move out. It would make more sense to trade some of those players sooner than later while they have more value with a full year left on their contract than they would considering it a trade deadline deal, because you don't know if your team is going to be in the playoffs or not. But with all the moves they've made, if they're a playoff team, and I would think they likely would be, they're not going to want to move out assets then, and they could just lose players for nothing. So they'd be better off to make some of those moves while they're in the offseason here to kind of get their situation settled. So overall, I'm sure Bergevin has a better idea on who's going to be likely to stay and who is likely going to go. But Gallagher will not be one of those players that's going. He wears a letter on his sweater. Can't help but like him after how hard he works. So anyways, I'm sure Habs fans will rejoice over this. Like I said, I know he's a very popular player, and even though we had some news last night that sounded grim, they get everything cleared up, signed, sealed, delivered, done deal. Gallagher will be a Hab for at least 6 more seasons. I'm not sure if there's a no trade or no move clause built into this contract as of yet. As I record this video, that part of the detail of the contract has not been disclosed that I've been able to see so far. So once that information comes out, look for the pinned comment down below, and I'll try to update that as soon as I see what those details are. But overall, like I said, I think it's a good contract, good signing. It's not an overpayment at all. I think after they signed Josh Anderson and Tyler Toffoli, I think it did put a little bit of pressure on the Gallagher side of things. They saw a lot of salary cap getting eaten up, and it was kind of a clear case like we saw with Alex Pietrangelo in St. Louis. Like, they start bringing in Justin Falk, Marco Scantella, signing them up to longer-term deals. Same thing here with Gallagher. They bring in Anderson, they sign Toffoli, get all these contracts done. And meanwhile, he's like, hello, I'm over here. Like, what about me? I've been here a long time, working my butt off for your organization. I want an extension too. And you want to make sure you don't get squeezed out, because obviously it was important to him to stay and be a part of things in Montreal. So I think that's maybe what happened. Sometimes agents or GMs do negotiate a little bit through the media and kind of throw reports out there to kind of, try to get the negotiations more in their favor too. So hard to say what happened, but obviously things have changed quite a bit in 24 hours, and now we've got a done deal. So let me know your thoughts on the contract down below, and we'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so you don't miss any future content. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.